My advice to anyone who writes is write one sentence per line. This is how Derek Sivers begins his blog post called Write One Sentence Per Line. And is what he said after 20 years of practicing this craft is what makes actually his writing improve the most. So, for who of you doesn't know who is Derek Sivers? Derek Sivers is just a special human being. He made a bunch of TED Talks. Is a successful entrepreneur who eventually sold his company for $20 million and devotes the majority of it in charity to charity. And it just since then he just publishing videos, is doing interviews, is just publishing posts and write essentially. So we can say that he's a writer actually, and I read a bunch of his books and they're great. And so I was wondering, his style is really minimal. It doesn't really it is not really it doesn't really suit me, as I have a different kind of style. I prefer like more a Team Urban kind of style when it comes to writing, or Laurencio, more to that Wait But Why blog, these kind of things. But I really appreciate his blog. So I found like by surfing into his blog, I found like a bunch of interesting advice like this one: write one sentence per line. Um, so be careful here, because he's not saying publish one sentence per line. He's saying write one sentence per line, which means write for yourself, for your eyes. Um, so it's essentially not actually a writing tip, is more of a editing tip. So I tested it, of course. I tried. Just right now in these days, I'm pretty much involved and completely. Um, I'm really overwhelmed with my last blog post, which is huge, and it takes me a lot of ed editing to do, and I feel overwhelmed, and so I was looking for some editing tip, and I found this one, and it radically changed how I edit my posts. Um, so what is all about is just you take the first sentence, you click enter, and this is one line. I like to click double enter and to really have eventually a little bit of space between the lines, and this it makes it really um, gives you loads of pros. So basically, the first one is that you can notice the weak part of the sentence. So maybe sometimes, as he said in his blog post, we write unnecessary words and make the sentence stand out by his own. Um, it puts a light on the hidden unnecessary words. So by separating the sentences, you can see the unnecessary words, and you can just delete them. So it's actually helpful. It's actually really, really helpful, and you can see the all the unnecessary word. You can read and reread the single sentence which usually, when it comes to a small paragraph or whatever, is that you're writing. It's more like I start to reading out loud, and I have to arrive at the end of the page or at the end of the paragraph or whatever. But by reading one sentence by one, it actually completely changed the way I edit in my writing, because it makes me clearly, like clear, realize what's the unnecessary words there. So it's great. Another advantage of this technique is that it makes you understand, it makes you see clearly, vertically, which kind of which words you're using at the beginning. So like you can see the beginning of every sentence, and you can carry it off the weak parts. For example, weak part, he said, for example, whether, or I think, or this kind of beginning of sentences. And this is actually is really great, because you can see the beginning and you can see how it flows, you can see what the end result will be. And second is also makes you realize the beginning and the end. Same thing, basically. The beginning and the end of the sentence are really important. And he said on his blog, the first words punch, the last words linger. And so yeah, there is no need for any other explanation. Another advantage is that you can easily move the sentence. So for example, if you realize that in a paragraph you have like you realize that the second sentence it should be at the end, or like or whatever, the one in the middle or the top or whatever, you can just copy and paste and move it. You have a clarity of mind that it can really helpful, especially with long format posts or book or chapter or whatever. So it's actually amazing even to move thing around. Um, Another thing is that it makes pretty easy to realize to vary the length of the sentence. So in a previous video we talked about the rhythmic editing and how writing can sound. By Gary Prost, we read together his famous example about write music, and basically essentially is like use a good combination of short sentences and long sentences, essentially, and middle. And this kind of editing, it makes you realize straight away um, the the length of the sentences. So it's like you can see if in the small paragraph you have three short sentences, one after in a row, you can visualize it like, oh, okay, I didn't notice, it might sound redundant and too much for the reader, so you might vary the length. And basically, yeah, this is just a bunch of things that it might sound trivial, but when you are struggling with a post, especially a long one, it makes all difference of the word. I found this advice really helpful, and I was like, no, I have to tell, I have to make a video about it. Absolutely. I hope you found this video helpful. I suggest you to go check it out. Derek post, and is actually it's just great, his blog. So go and check it out. Don't forget to subscribe and leave me a comment to let me know what you think about it, and see you in the next video.